Hi there, I'm Alison from Boomerang Pilates and the MoveSmart Teacher Training Program. And today we're going to do a little bit of work with shoulder and arm positioning and a little bit of forearm rotation. So you're going to start by placing your hand behind the opposite bum cheek or the opposite hip. And for a lot of people, that's going to create a wing, right? A gapping behind your shoulder blade. And there are a couple of different ways to deal with that. And the first pass, what you're going to do, I call this the QUASIMODO, because you're going to roll forward and around. So it's not a twist. It really is a slide of the arm bone and the shoulder blade. So we start here and roll to here. And you can see if I'm sideways, if I start with the wing, I'm coming up and around. And you may have a little bit of lift, and that's totally okay. So we're looking for some nice spread across the back of the shoulder. There's a pulling in through the pectoral muscle of the head of the arm bone in towards the sternum. Totally okay in this context. And you hang it there for about a minute. You want to try and snuggle your arm in towards your ribs to the best of your ability. And then we're going to add a forearm rotation. Turning the whole forearm so that your hand faces in towards your back. Try and avoid leading with your fingers and really go for the whole arm. You'll probably find, and I think you can see this probably on me, your shoulder blade will tend to move slightly as you do this motion. Ideally, we have the capacity to move our forearms separately from our shoulders, but lots of us have a little extra tension, which makes that challenging. So if that happens for you, don't worry about it. And then let your arm relax. Shift over, same thing, other side. The arm tucks right in towards the ribs, down kind of across the low back, and then feel for, either from below or from above, whatever works better for you, what's going on with your shoulder blade. And can you pull forward, potentially a little bit up and around, so that you have a nice broad flat line across your back and your ribs. And you hang out with that and you take a couple of breaths and then add, twist and release. And this is usually quite different from your dominant to your non-dominant side. One side might be a little bit easier to move. I think you can see on this side I get more shoulder blade motion. I get a little more winging when I do the forearm rotation on my dominant, because I'm right-handed, as opposed to my non-dominant side. And then you let that hang down. Then we're going to approach it from a different perspective. So fold your hand across. Usually you'll have less winging the second time around. So see if you can maybe take your hand a little higher. See if you can deliberately get some wing here. And now, instead of rolling everything forward to flatten, think of taking the bottom corner of your shoulder blade, which is tipped out, and sliding it in towards your ribs without popping your whole chest, rib cage, and spine forward. So now we're really deliberately activating the scapular stabilizers. Let it wing a little bit, and then slide right in. So you're cuddling that bottom point of the shoulder blade in towards the rib cage. It's not a big motion. Release, snuggle in. Release, snuggle in. And then do the same thing on the other side. Fold the hand right in. Check and see what you've got. If you don't have a lot of winging second pass, you could bring your arm higher, right? You can come up more. Feel for that spacing, and then snuggle the shoulder blade in and release. And slide it in, keeping your chest, your ribs, and your spine all pretty stable and neutral. And activate all those great muscles that help to slide and move your shoulder blade on your rib cage, because there's no joint, right? Your shoulder blade is held onto your rib cage with just your muscles. So you want to have them strong and adept. And that helps to open the shoulders nice and wide, because we have less holding here. We have more activation in the back of the shoulder, rather than taking short, tight shoulders and broad shoulder blades and then squeezing the whole thing back we want to have the capacity to widen the shoulders rather than just displace them. So there you go. That's an excellent exercise as any kind of practice for arms traveling wide or arms traveling back behind you. And enjoy it. It makes you feel great and it makes your arms longer. Bye.